Our story today is about extreme contrasts and the effortless similarity found within them. 8 musicians on one stage could very easily create chaos. But instead, the guitars, drums, keyboards, tablas, sarangi, and classical Hindustani and Western vocals come together to find kindred spirits in Advaita. It's been 8 years since then, but the band's thirst to learn and innovate has changed little since their formation. In complete contrast to Advaita is the one-man show of Sahej Bakshi, better known as Dualist Inquiry. His brand of music lit up the electronica music scene last year, laced with an added edge when he starts playing the guitar. His music disregards genre, while he wows audiences with his newly developed sound. I'm Monica Dogra, singer, songwriter, and one half of electro rock act Shire and Funk. Join me as we travel far and wide to bring you stories, moments, and songs that remind us time and again that some things are just worth doing. Welcome to the Dewarists. We have run away from cities, and we are ready to slip into the comforting warmth of Shimla's hill station charm, as it winds an intangible net of inspiration around us. How do 8 personalities form a song? How do they fit on stage? In the big bad world of big-ticket musicians and bigger egos, Advaita's not only managed to survive, but thrive and evolve as one of India's most evocative rock bands for 8 years.
My sister who got an acoustic guitar for the first time, and she, I think, hardly touched it because I just sort of hijacked it. I was interested in, forming a band in school and stuff, and they didn't allow us to do that because they were promoting more Indian classical. And then my father was posted to Bangladesh, and I did my 11th and 12th in an American school. That's when I really actually started playing seriously, because they had a whole setup, like a band room and a lot of chances to play like talent shows and stuff like that.
On my 8th birthday, my parents, they gifted me a keyboard. I was just discovering notes and how different notes make chords. And everybody, I think as kids, would want to just attach to something, try and connect with that and make the most of that. So I think for me, it was probably the keyboards.
The first time I saw my grandfather on stage, a very famous Padma Bhushan awardee sarangi player. After that concert, I was so stunned. The audience connecting to the artist and the artist getting connected to the audience. I was awestruck by that energy. And I was like, I have to do this. I think this is my life. So that was the day when I decided कि नहीं, बस musician बनना है और कुछ नहीं.
Came back to Delhi to do my college, and I did really badly in my exams and realized I had to do something I was into, and I ended up joining this band called Friday the 13th, which our keyboard player Anindo was also part of. That's why I met him.
Tarun Balani, he was forming this band called Incognito. So So I walk into this jam room. I saw guys with long hair, goatees, and full rock and roll happening. And I'm this ninth class student with a sarangi bag. But they really liked the instrument, so they said, let's play. Somehow that band didn't survive for more than 2-3 gigs.
In college, my interest in Indian classical music grew. At the same time, Incognito and Sohail, who was playing sarangi, they were also trying something similar. And I remember going to one of their shows, and I was like, whoa, like the same way I would like close my eyes and drift off to hear like a Pink Floyd album was the same feeling I kind of got in an Indian classical thing, which was very meditative, very, very slowly kind of entering your system. So I felt like there was something there. And their band was also kind of disbanding. So these two kind of projects, then we kind of teamed up and Advaita was formed.
My mother, she freaked out. She was like, बैंड में बजाओगे तुम, बैंड में किसी ने नहीं बजाया हमारे घर में, तुम पब्स में बजाओगे, ये करोगे, वो करोगे. But I was more attracted about music. I was like, मैं सिर्फ एक कान से सुनता था, दूसरे कान से निकालता था, and I just kept doing it. There was a huge transformation going on in my head. You know, imagine a sarangi player listening to rags like Yaman, Geda, Naiki Kanada, and Malkos, Malhar, and suddenly your guitar player comes and tells you, "Oh, तुमने Chemical Brothers की नई album सुनी क्या? बहुत cool है." I'm like, सुना दो. So I was just adapting myself.
We were only interested in experimentation and just trying something new, and weren't too perturbed by whether the scene was going to accept it or not. And like I said, straight off the bat, it was like we felt there was something there that was really, really worth pursuing for very seriously.
And here was a band which was completely defying everything and trying to create original music and only push that. We ended up getting the Jaipur Virasat Festival in 2005, which was, I think, one of our first 10 shows or something.
There was just one fundamental lineup change when some of the core people like Aditya and Tarun in the beginning, and our bass player Arpan. And once they left, there was a fresh batch of people who replaced them.
Most of the members at some point had performed with Artists Unlimited. That is the first place I got, exposed to a lot of Western music. And I actually was an audience member for their first show, which was in my college. After like another year, they were looking for a vocalist, and Anindo happened to ask me. And I was like, yeah, sure, man. Like, of course I'm going to audition. And yeah, I gave an audition and got through.
Hindustani classical vocals, there's Ujjwal Nagar. On drums, we have Aman Singh. On bass, we have Gaurav Chintamani. And on the tabla, there's Mohit Lal.
I think it's the kind of band where the style of the music is bigger than the individuals. So whoever joins in Advaita, all of us just kind of tune into what we're trying to do in this collective chemistry.
We kind of all converge at a point where we understand each other.
When we started playing, we applied for some competitions. We couldn't get through. People like, अच्छा ये क्या है? मतलब सारंगी भी डाल दी, तबला भी डाल दिया, ये भी डाल दिया. And then we thought, okay, just chuck it. We shouldn't go through competitions. We'll do some self-produced shows.
We decided to take the plunge really and spend huge sums of money recording that. And once that happened, I guess a lot of people took notice.
Our belief in our music itself, we kind of, managed to drive through that period where it was hard to be noticed, hard to be, like maybe understood at a certain level. But I think we managed to get past that phase.
Mostly, I think the problems we faced, 8 people, we're not getting younger. This is our career, and this is an insecure field. We are all optimistic, and we do feel Advaita is now a very important thing in our life.
You know, with music or any creative field, you just have to have that grounding with yourself, first of all, before the unit you work with. You've got to believe in yourself that, you know, you've got to give this a shot. You have to, you know, go with all the, you know, the ups and downs, because otherwise it's just like, if it's a fairy tale ride, you know, it can just topple over any time. I guess everybody who joined, you know, the setup, they were, you know, sacrificing everything together as a unit.
Advaita has always been about learning, and we keep evolving ourselves, we keep educating ourselves through music itself.
From the multiple voices of one band, we're jumping straight into the opposite side. The multiple talents of one man. Sahej Bakshi is one of the youngest and most experimental EDM artists our country can count as her own.
I got into listening to music because my dad was really into listening to music. Me and my friends started our own band, and then we started writing our own music when we were about 15, 16. There was really nothing to do with the music once you made it, you know, unless you're a professional musician. Before we knew it, we were just off to college in different directions, and then then the band just kind of drifted off. It was always kind of this dream at the back of my head to play music professionally and to be a professional musician. You know, Los Angeles is one of the places where the whole recording industry started up in the 50s and 60s. So I went to an amazing music school over there. In my second semester, I had to choose 4 classes, and I had selected 3 classes and I had a 4th one to go, and my counselor was just you know what, just pick anything, just choose whatever's fun. And I remember going classical guitar, no composition theory, no, not really. Introduction to music technology. I was this is it. All this while, my friends were really into electronic music and psychedelic trance and techno and all of that. I just tagged along with them for this rave called Monster Massive in LA. And that's one of the moments in my life that I'll never forget, that I walked in, you know, 40,000 people over there, 40,000 people over there, and 20,000 people in the middle. And there's one person standing over there, this one DJ. And I was just what in the world is going on over here? When you're playing as a band, you have a drum kit and you have to mic it, and then the mic goes to the console. You know, so there's loss of signal quality because you're going through different mediums. But with electronic, it's just it's pure digital sound. There is no transferring of mediums, and to me, that was in a way getting as close to the sound as I possibly could. It's coming from, you know, within this machine. And so that was actually what drew me to making electronic music, was the fidelity of the sound. You know, to be honest, when I came back, I did not have a life at that point. I left my life that I had in the States. It was a turbulent time for me. I was kind of upset and not settled. But at the same time, there was this burning desire, motivation that I have to make something out of my own music. I knew that that was going to be my journey. That was going to be the path. For about a year and a half, I just did not play the guitar. I just stopped touching it. I kind of wanted my set to have a particular sound. The first time I was producing a song, you know, just picked up the guitar and I was you know, let me just play along with this beat. And, you know, it just kind of worked. Actually, the reason why I wanted to give myself a name and not just go as Sahaj is, it's not about the person. Like, it's about the music. Like, you know, you're not thinking of anyone's face while you listen to the music. It's just this cloud, this idea, you know? So that's what Dualist Inquiry was for me. My sound was just kind of like an expression, I guess, of like my likes and dislikes, my personality. Basically, I like to create moods that are like so thick that you can feel exactly what that mood is. It's not enough for me just that it's groovy. No, like, you know, it has to like nail a certain mood, like on the head, you know, like no ambiguity. This one is nostalgic, or this one is like, you know, like I'm here to party, or this one is aggressive. But like each song is one mood, and like that's the way by which I would approach them and make them, basically. One day I just got a call, like randomly, it was like, hello, this is Sahaj. I was like, yeah. Like, do you have a passport? I'm like, yeah. Okay, cool. Like, on the 10th of next month, we're going to send you to Berlin Music Week, to play over there. And I'm just like, what? I would just like kind of wake up in the morning every day, and I realized that, you know, I have nothing to do the whole day but just make music. It's like, I can just like do a dance right there, you know. Even if I was doing 1 gig a month and like, you know, living on like chump change, you know, it didn't really matter, because the fact that I'm getting to be a musician, you know, that my card like doesn't say anything except for like, you know, music.
We're all meeting for the first time at a resort in Shimla that once belonged to a British officer with 2 wives. This sprawling bungalow was the one he built for his British wife, while he built a separate home for his Scottish wife at the same time. I don't think we'll need quite that much drama, but I like the idea of us starting against such a dramatic note.
He is Dualist Inquiry, you guys are Advaita. Advaita means?
Non-duality.
So precursor is pretty awesome for this collaboration.
It's quite interesting. But yeah, non-duality. So like, I'm guessing Advaita means like, you know, kind of like a oneness kind of thing, you know? Like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, my duality is like not really to do with like anti-oneness. It's kind of more about like darkness and light having equal importance, you know, when you're in the middle of both of them kind of thing.
And you're both from Delhi, and you've never connected.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's quite a funny thing, because, you know, it's quite a small scene. Usually you end up bumping into people. But yeah, like, you know, we went on the same flight together and we didn't know.
And you guys were on the same.
Yeah, we were actually sitting
On the way back from last year's weekend, we were apparently sitting in the same row. Last to last year. Oh, wow, okay. Like, it's been a while, huh? But yeah, I love you guys' music. Yeah,
Thank you. We checked out your stuff.
Absolutely love
checked
it.
out your stuff
And
online. It's nice.
yeah, like
really
when I found out I'm going to be collaborating with you guys, I was like, all right, man, we got a lot of instruments to play with.
You know? And song.
Yeah, definitely. But it's fantastic. You guys are really tight, man, on stage.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's really inspiring to be here. And I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll make some good
Yeah,
music.
I've been just dying to like get our instruments out since we got
And electronic music has done that a lot for the instrument players these days. Because
Yeah.
it's so much around, and now that when you play a groove, you try to ape
Yeah.
that kind of a feel, and it's like really growing, man.
Yeah, it
Mixing acoustic instruments with electronic music.
But nice stuff you're doing, man. It's really ambient. And
Cheers, thank you. No,
good thing is it's like emotionally driven. That's the
Yeah,
kind of stuff you
exactly,
guys are
like-
totally into. So
That's what I found when I heard your albums as well. I listened to them on the way here, and you know, like really melodically driven stuff. You know.
something good should come out.
Yeah, definitely. Something new for all of us.
It's nice to come to a place like this
Yeah.
and maybe just press the pause button for a few days. You know, just be
Precisely.
like, let's just let the music flow. You know.
Best collaborations unfold with the unlikeliest of suspects in the most unpredictable of spaces. Shimla's crisp air, the deep quiet of the mountains, and 2 sets of musicians who have only recently come across each other's music will definitely turn this story into one for keeps. We have been on dozens of journeys on this show, exploring the limits of imaginations of talented artists. This time, it's quite literally the journey that is the muse. The Shimla Kalka Railway was built to connect the summer capital of India with the Indian railway system. A ride on a train inspires effortlessly. I'm sure this one's not going to be any different.
I'm very, very excited. Dualist Inquiry is a great, great artist.
Dualist is someone, I mean, we all really haven't like heard before. So we were all, you know, like, okay, this is going to be something interesting. We'd only heard about what he did.
I've heard his stuff and I really like it. It's very melodic, it's very emotive. I think there is definitely some place we can find some meeting ground.
He's very melodically driven and we are also very emotionally and melodically driven. So I think that was the common meeting ground for us.
This is my like first collaboration in many ways, and that's why like I'm especially excited and like more open than ever to trying something new.
I think it'll work because he is a producer and he's an electronic artist, so he's got these 8 musicians on his plate.
There is a point where we can meet because we heard some of his stuff and we do find that there are spaces which he can explore, and we found a lot of space in his music which can certainly lead to a point where we could all meet and come together.
The more I think about it, the more excited I am because it's going to put us into slightly uncharted territory, and I think that's great because it's sort of challenging, but yet I guess what's going to come out then is going to be something that you won't expect.
Well, there are some fundamental differences in the way music is composed when there's a band playing it and there's one person doing it electronically. I'm just not going to like cling to any like modus operandi as such. I'm just going to go in there and just sort of go with the flow and try to make the best music we can.
It's time to see where our little expedition has brought us. Our 2 artists are now ready to stretch their comfort zones to their limits in their first jam session.
The studio was set up inside of this place that we're staying, which is 100 years old. And everyone kind of plugged in and they just started to jam.
Things just came together so quickly right now that it's kind of like, looking amazing and it's beautiful and everyone's all plugged in, and like, this is definitely the moment where like I just want to go, like just get into it and, just feel at home in the process.
I love the ambience. It's like how one jams at home or has a home studio, so it's pretty nice with a good view outside.
Sahej had a basic groove going. We guys are just responding to it. So came in with a basic bass line, or he's filling in some chords on it. Just hit play and react.
The way the instruments come in and go out, right? So if we I think we're coming from a similar place musically, which is a really good thing. We started working on a brand new groove, so it was like 100% in the moment. Because what happens in electronic is you get an idea and you build it for about 4 or 8 bars. It just comes in a lot of different phases, so to speak, and the song is linear.
Well, we came up with a basic germ of an idea, and we're just coming up with parts around it and figuring out chords and basic vocal lines.
इस टेम्पो पे रहो, otherwise बिल्कुल स्लो हो जाएगा.
How about this?
Slow otherwise.
I really like your idea of mixing in the serious notes as well. Should we try like doing like them sections? We can have like this kind of cloud cover comes over the song, and like so we can go from this major progression like into this like kind of seriously dark kind of minor progression or whatever.
More flat 5s from there basically. You want to just put down just a little soft groove thing so that we can hold on to that tempo, because every time we slow down then we think in a
Cool, let's do that. We just started out with a groove, and then it was more about finding the right melody, hitting the right notes, evoking the right emotions. Actually, like the biggest challenge has been just managing the ideas. We've had a lot of ideas, and the most important thing is to actually like nail it down.
This itself sounds like a hooky part which is coming from something, and the verse could be quieter and it leads into sounding nice. Maybe what it's sounding like is this is the hook section where it leads to with everybody singing or Tera Jo chorus. But the verse itself very sparse and quiet.
Yeah, exactly. So when we go to D, why don't we sit on D for like a round and see what happens?
Right now we are trying to figure out the structure of the song. Sahaj is making a sequence of the beats, and that was the kind of the foundation of the song, I would say.
So we're just jamming and just coming up with parts and all, so it's getting there.
Let's just play D.
I think this is nice.
Yeah.
Let's hold on to D.
Let's hold on to D.
Good, no?
Yeah, it's nice.
Play
Let's
that
figure
line
out the
wala
right
end,
notes
no?
to play on top of D. Start from the beginning. Yeah, verse and then the
And those 4 Ds at the end come on the...
And then into the chorus, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4. That was definitely a lot of fun. It was really good. What we have now is a basic arrangement, and I think we've just worked out how the song begins and what it's like in the middle, and we sort of know where it's going to end.
And hopefully we'll have something concrete to stitch it together by tomorrow and come up with some sort of an arrangement.
It has a slow, nice, groovy feel to it, and then it will build up after like 2 verses or like 2 minutes of the song. So, we have to keep that in mind when we write the lyrics.
In a quaint library by a crackling fireside, Sahaj and Advaita have found a perfectly fair balance of disparate sounds. It's the seemingly impossible that makes each collaboration such as this one so special. Today's our 4th day in Shimla. It's coming to an end. The boys have been in the studio for the last 2 days.
Today was the D day. We had to write the lyrics and whatever melody we had figured out yesterday, which was, I think, one of the most hard part in the song.
Next time change
वैसे melody क्या है?
A song has a lot to do with where we are, few of the things that we've experienced in the last few days, people we've met, and the energies kind of exchanged.
This makes sense.
As the mood was going on in the song, I would say it was giving me a sense of hope. So it's about coming out or arriving at somewhere or getting to somewhere. So the lyrics were around that context.
No, of course it makes sense, but
beat
में भी adjust करना पड़ेगा ना.
मैं भी उन्हीं lines में सोच रहा था कि basically disconnected नहीं होना चाहिए. So
Chayan's part is more of an answer to my part, I would say. The good part is that Chayan has always been very particular about how the flow of the lyrics has been.
The place we are in, for most of us, Shimla is hills basically is I wanted to kind of bring in the fact that we are in the hills, where I basically want to say that I'm away from the madness and rush of what I go through every day, but now I'm in a silent place where I can do some catching up with the time I've kind of lost. एक basic first line है मेरे पास. Now I'm on the other side of the hill.
Seems to me as if a question and answer going on between the Indian and the Western section.
I think that for sure Shimla has seeped into what they lyrically decided to write in the song.
Lyrically, I think it's really inspired by this place, quite directly. Both the Hindi and the English verses talk about hope and difficulty. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The process of writing any song, especially when for us, because we're such a big setup, is we have to treat it in macro levels and micro levels. So we do the overall structure, but then we need to get back into just certain small segments and fix just certain chords and stuff. So that's basically what we guys were doing.
You can wait 2 bars before you come in, and then it'll fall into place.
Okay.
Right? So basically, like you started after 1 bar right now, and that like takes it on the half, you know?
Okay.
So start after 2. We pretty much had a bunch of ideas that weren't really kind of like almost 3 different songs, you know? So we got together, and you know, basically, this band, they really work well together. Like I noticed that from the start. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Today we kind of succeeded in putting it all together and make it sound like one song rather than lots and lots of parts thrown together. We spent most of the evening like making sure the structure was right and fixing all the parts.
We kind of rearranged the whole song. When the song got started, I had no idea what kind of a space or what kind of a role I will be playing in, which is already full, but I'm really trying to act like water and, finding my own space. I'm just trying to respond to whatever is happening around me.
There are so many musicians, rather than tracking everybody solo, they decided to record it like a live band, which is something that doesn't really happen that often on this show.
For me, it was very inspiring also because it's 8 of us and Sahaj is there and he was very adjusting to all 8 of us because it's very hard to be adjusting to 8 people. So cheers to him.
By the end of yesterday, we had a lot of parts. It came down to what we wanted to get rid of. So I think today we've successfully somewhat managed it. So I think we have an interesting structure down.
So that's how it kind of worked out, I just let them be themselves. We composed the song. Once we had things in place, that's when I kind of got in there and, gave it that electronic injection.
All of these boys are city boys, And when you remove them from their city life and the hustle and bustle of their lives, all the wisdom that bubbles underneath the mayhem gets a chance to come up and speak. In the end, Advaita and Dualist Inquiry have a very kind of keen balance.
In a world that makes us increasingly independent, we strangely become almost abandoned. In a country of more than 1 billion people, we crave our privacy. And when alone, we long for community. Reality and life unfolds in these dualities, through discordant genres and mismatched musicians. The Dewarists are a reflection of this anomaly, reminding relentlessly that some things are just worth doing.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Song is done. The collaboration is finished.
To see where it's come to in these last 2-3 days, it's fantastic.
I think this was our first composition of the year, and it feels really good.
Definitely, really new kind of feeling for me to like be on stage with 8 other people.
All 9 of them are extremely strong personalities, so they carve their own space.
Generally, when you're writing songs in a band, you don't track the process, but here you look at that process and it's something worth looking back at.
This was like my first collaboration from scratch. It's been a great experience.
They think that I'm singing social issues, so I should do everything free.
Musical skills aren't an end in themselves. It's about transmitting what you're feeling in your heart, your head.
At DF, somewhere politically, we are very much into the same line.
We're used to structuring bars. His starting point is very different, but I'm really positive about it.
I love doing this, and that's what I'm doing.